Hey everyone, it's Bruno Pozo here with Elvira Media. If you've done any work in photo or video, you might have actually come across one of these 5-in-1 reflector discs, which are very common and popular in the industry. The thing is, it's not very intuitive what the use case of this disc really is. So I'm going to show you exactly what you can use this 5-in-1 reflector disc for in both video and photo purposes. Let's get into it. All right, so let's talk about the white side of the reflector disc. This side is actually used to add light to your scene. You do this simply by allowing the light to bounce off of the white surface so that it can help fill in the scene. In fact, that's exactly what we're doing right now in this shot. So a use case for this scenario would be if you're actually backlit by the sun like I am right now, you tend to have a very underexposed front. So to help fill that, I like to use the white bounce card so that I can combat the sun and actually use it to my advantage. Use the sun as a light source to bounce light back onto me, just so that it's more even and I'm not completely left in the shadows. Quick note, the silver side is also really great for bouncing light, but you don't want to use it on faces because it can be very overpowering and very harsh on the subject's eyes. All right, now let's talk about the black side of the 5-in-1 reflector disc. So in this case, you have two uses for it. One, you can simply flag off light, so basically cutting the light source, or alternatively, you can use the black side actually as a way to create negative fill. Negative fill is kind of subtracting light from the scene. So if you're in a room with a lot of white walls and light is bouncing everywhere, and you don't really have the contrast that you're looking for in the shot, simply add the black disc to the opposite side of the subject so that you're cutting that side of the subject's shadows off from the light. So you'll see that the image comes out more contrasty and darker on that side of the person's face or back or whatever part of the light that you're cutting off. Little pro tip with this, you're not going to really achieve much negative fill if you're outside unless you have a really large black sheet. So the 5-in-1 reflective disc may not be useful in that case, but in interior shots, it can be very useful in adding, or rather subtracting, light from your scene. All right, now let's actually talk about the diffusion panel that comes with your 5-in-1 reflector. So this is actually the exoskeleton of the panel. So if you unzip the layers surrounding it, you are left with the actual diffusion layer. So this is actually going to come most in handy when you don't have a softbox or some method to help soften the light on your subject. So what does softening the light do? Well, if you're filming something, let's say in direct sunlight, there's going to be very harsh shadows and very distinct lines between the shadows and the light. What softening light does is actually softens that edge and prevents those hard lines and distinct shadows from appearing on your subject's face or background. So this is most flattering on people's faces because with hard lights, you're going to see more wrinkles, acne, and little uneven surfaces like that. If you use the diffusion panel and put it in front of your light source, now you'll have a much more even lighting on the subject's face, so it helps hide those imperfections. So with the diffusion panel, really you want to have it as close to your subject's face as possible to help soften the light as best you can. However, depending on the framing, that may not always be possible. Just keep in note that the further your light source and the softbox is, the harder the light becomes again. All right, we're almost there. Only two sides left, the silver and the gold side. So both of these are considered the shiny sides of the reflector and reflect significantly more light onto your subject. So with the silver reflector, you're going to get a pure white light, and it's often really good, not for faces because it can be very harsh and blinding as you might have seen earlier, but instead for maybe product shoots, or even as a way to add a hair light or edge light to your subject without the need of another light source. So simply with the silver reflector, you're going to have it angled such that it bounces your key light onto the back of your subject, so you have that separation between them and the background. All right, and now we finally made it, the gold side of the reflector disc. This is identical to the silver side in how much light it reflects. However, the color temperature of that light is going to be different. Now you're adding a much darker orange or gold tint to your video. This can be done more for a stylistic effect, so I often don't find myself using this too often, but it can be useful in product shoots or when trying to capture a sunset or sunrise vibe in your videos or photos. The same considerations as the silver side still apply. Do not shine in people's faces, And be sure to use it as an edge light if that's something that you're looking for. I'll have a normal white light as my key light filling in the subject's face, and then a slight orange glowing edge light so that I have some more separation from the background, and of course introducing that color contrast and interest in the image. All right, so there you guys have it. That's how you can use your 501 reflector disc for multiple lighting conditions. Just understand that the purpose of the 501 reflector disc is to help you control your light and supplement the lighting that you already have. So this is a cheap alternative to buying 3 separate lights so you can simply achieve a 3-point lighting setup. So the one I actually got was from Full Time Filmmaker, so if you want that, I'll link it down below. We found other brands as well, but they tend to be significantly more expensive for whatever reason. But from what our experiences has found, that they're not really that different and it doesn't really change the quality that much. So I highly just recommending finding not the cheapest, but a good $30 to $40 501 reflector disc should do a really good solid job, and you don't have to buy another one from there. So if you guys have any further questions about how you can further use your 501 reflector disc, please leave a comment down below and I'll be happy to get back to you. Thank you guys again for watching this video. Hit that like button if you found it useful. Subscribe for more video and photo content on this channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.